Hi guys, good morning and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Mandy and you can find me on the internet as Mandy Von Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. I am a 39-year-old woman from southeastern Michigan and I live here with my husband and my two kiddos. I have been knitting for years and crocheting for about 4 years longer than I've been knitting, so we're gonna go with a decade, give or take, for both. That's close enough. My favorite thing to make are garments, and I love to spend all the time to get everything the way that I want, and it just makes me feel so empowered to be able to modify sweaters or cardigans the way that I need them to fit. I am only 4'8", so as you can imagine, it was very hard when I was growing up trying to size my own clothes. Especially when you go to a store and you're so short, no matter what you do, your pant legs are dragging on the ground or your sleeves are way too long. It's a mess. So I really appreciate the fiber arts as a way to be able to kind of combat that. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, please stick around. I would love to have you. Now, for the first order of business, I am going to talk about admin. If you are new here, every week I give away a pattern prize off of Ravelry, or, well, at least it's been off of Ravelry so far. If Ravelry isn't accessible to you and you win, just shoot me a message and we'll figure out how to get you a pattern. Okay. So the rules are that you can only win once a month. I'm just trying to make it even for everybody. And the pattern price has to be $15 or under. That's it. Those are all the rules. So with that said, I am going to draw a winner right here. And if that was you, please reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits, and I will let me know what pattern that you want, and I will gift that to you. Okay, I have been going like all over the place this week. I have been daydreaming heavily off of Ravelry. Have you guys ever just sat and looked at all of the patterns that you have and thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to be able to do all of this? Because sometimes I feel that way. So I have been working on a Christmas sweater for my son. Now, spoiler alert, I have it done and I am going to show you the finished sweater and hopefully going to put up some pictures so that you can see. I haven't taken the pictures yet, so that's why I'm saying hopefully. And I have casted on another sweater. This one is going to be for my daughter. It is her Christmas sweater. Now, I didn't use the same pattern. I didn't use my tried and true pattern because I wanted to mix things up. So I hope that it is as interesting to you as it is to me, the pattern choice that I picked. It's the same but different. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is what I am wearing, and I am specifically wearing this because this was a pattern pick of a previous winner. This is the Recalibrate by Shana Cohen. So I love this, and this is knit completely in garter stitch, and I love the way that it works because it's such a relaxing knit. It's knit in garter stitch and you work one side or you work this middle strip and then you work the sides and there's no seaming and it's great. I made this out of a Halloween mini skein advent that I had. I believe it was 13 colors. And then I grabbed, I believe, this dark purple color from, it was a sock yarn skein that I had. So the mini skein advent was from Beehive Yarns. And this was probably not last year or the year before, but the year before that. So I can't even remember what the theme was for it. but I love the way that it came out. And I feel like the Recalibrate is a great choice for somebody that wants to use up mini skeins or wants to use an advent with a pattern. It's a very accessible knit. I think that it's easy to do. It is done in garter stitch, so it's very relaxing knitting, and the construction on it is so cool because I don't know if you guys are familiar with this designer or not, but her construction, just everything fits together. And you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because she was in architecture before, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but it would make a lot of sense if she was, because her pattern pieces kind of just fit together like puzzles. So I definitely recommend knitting this. I am only wearing it because it was a previous pattern winner. Otherwise, I'd be like in the warmest outfit ever because it's freezing here. So if you see me going like this, that's why. This is more of my like summer attire, but I wanted to showcase it because, like I said, it was a previous pattern picked. But okay, so I finished my son's sweater and I'm so excited about it. This is Flax from Tin Can Knits, and this is Flax sock. So this was done in sock weight yarn. The yarn is a merino nylon, and I love it. Look at how soft it is. And this gradient is dyed from Mosaic yarns, and ooh, okay, I'm gonna talk about the end in a second. This gradient is dyed from Mosaic yarns, and so last week when you saw it, I had just a little bit to go, like maybe 6 inches, I think, on the sleeves, and I had the body bound off. So what I did was I finished the sleeves, and I'm looking at my yarn, and I'm looking at the picture of my son that I took with the sweater on last week, and I'll put the picture up just to remind you guys. And the thing that bothered me about it was that the sweater went down to about his waistband. Now, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is a fingering weight sweater. That's his waistband, and he's 13. So he grows really fast, and he's gonna get taller, and I want this sweater to last longer. So I kid you not, I took the bind off out, I pulled out all the ribbing, and I used up the rest of the yarn I had. So I probably added like 2.5, 3 inches to the bottom of the stockinette, and then I did the ribbing again. So it fits him brilliantly, and he's got some room in it, which I love. And I'm so excited about having this done, and he loves it. And he goes to me, because he wears a uniform to school like my daughter does. He goes to me, you know, Mom, I would love to wear this to school, but I can't because it's not one color. Because the sweaters that he wears to school, and my daughter, sweaters or cardigans have to be solid color. So he was bummed about that, but he's super excited, and he says that I will definitely wear this because it's getting super cold. And I'm like, yeah, you should definitely wear this, because if you don't, I'm gonna take the yarn out and make something else, because this is so soft. I could not be happier with this sweater. I'm gonna talk about the fades, because this was a mini skein set, and I basically, as I was fading the yarn, I would have 2 balls, and I would be knitting from one and wanting to go to the other. So I would knit around with the other one, and then knit 2 on the side that I was previously knitting, and then come back over here and knit 1, and then knit 1 over here, and then knit 2, and then knit 1, and then I would just be done over here. I hope that makes sense to you. But basically what it boils down to is that I would kind of graduate the fade to make it the transition smoother, and I think it worked out pretty well. Oh, he's so lucky. I love this. I have some yarn that I'm going to be making myself a Christmas sweater out of, and I can't wait to show you the pattern that I picked, because I picked a completely different pattern from this one and the one that I picked my daughter. So, like I said, this was Flax from Tin Can Knits. I have knit this sweater. This is a free pattern, and I have knit this sweater so many times. I have paid for patterns that I haven't used as much as this free pattern. So if you are a sweater knitter, if you aren't a sweater knitter and you want a beginner sweater pattern, I definitely recommend Tin Can Knits. You cannot go wrong with their patterns. They have brilliant paid for patterns, and they have brilliant free patterns as well. So definitely, another thing that I'd like to point out about Tin Can Knits is their size ranges. So this Flax sweater and the one that I am going to show you, because the one I cast on for my daughter is also a Tin Can Knit sweater, it comes in sizes newborn to, I believe, 5 or 6 XL. And it's one pattern that covers all of those sizes. So if you're paying for a pattern and you want to knit it for, say, your 9-year-old daughter, and you want a sweater too, you only need one pattern for that sweater. I bought, I believe, the Love Note from Tin Can Knits, and I made my daughter one, but I can also make myself one too. So I wanted to point that out, because I really do appreciate all of their hard work that they put into their patterns. They are definitely amazing. Okay, speaking of Tin Can Knits, I started thinking about how I didn't want to make another Flax, especially as a Christmas sweater, especially back to back to back, because, I mean, it's hard to knit the same thing back to back to back. So I decided to take a look at different patterns and try to figure out what would go really good with the fade that I have. Because just like this sweater, I have a fade for my daughter, except hers goes from pink to yellow to blue. So I decided to go with, and I believe it's called the Basic Sweater. I think. I hope. I'm putting it up on the screen. The gist of it is that they have this basics collection, and it comes with a cardigan, a sweater, and a hat. I don't know about the other two because I didn't purchase them. I have the cardigan and I just bought the sweater. So I'm going to put up pictures of how the basic sweater looks so you guys can get a feel for it. But the gist of the pattern is that it is a typical Tin Can Knits pattern. It has multiple weights of yarn and multiple sizes, and I'm very excited to try it. It is a circular yoke, which is why I picked it, because the Flax is a raglan, which is fine, and I love knitting raglans, but I don't have a lot of experience knitting a circular yoke, especially when it comes to being able to make sure that circular yoke will fit you. Now, my daughter's only 9, so what better person to try out knitting a circular yoke on than a 9-year-old? So this is what I have so far, and it's kind of on small needles. So I'm gonna try to show it the best that I can. But this is the first color, and this is gonna start trending and graduating into a yellow, and then it'll be the blue at the end. I asked my daughter, I showed her the picture of the gradient that my husband took for me, and I'm like, kiddo, do you want it to start at the blue or do you want it to start at the pink? And obviously she picked the pink because she loves pink. So this is what I have, and just like the Flax, you have the option of starting with the ribbing. So you can cast on and go directly into the ribbing, or you can cast on and basically forego the ribbing and go right into the body. For this and for my sons, I directly went into the body. So I skipped the ribbing. I knit about, I would say, 1/2 inch. Then I broke the yarn and I went and I picked up the ribbing. I would have left it and knit the ribbing after, but since I'm using a gradient, it's very important for me to knit the top ribbing before I run out of yarn. So that is how I dealt with it. If I were using one color, a solid color, anything like that, or if the ribbing was going to be a different color, I would have just left it to the end. Now, so far, I really enjoy this. The body of the sweater, if you take a look right here, is broken into 12 different sections, and you are gradually increasing those at each of those markers every so many rows. And I recently did the stripy unicorn from Joji Locatelli, and I'll put up a picture of what it looks like. And that is also a circular yoke. It uses a different method of increasing for the body, but this one was a lot easier for me to understand. It was very straightforward. I tend to find that Tin Can Knits patterns are super easy, so if you have never knit a sweater before, like I said, definitely check them out. But I'm excited about doing this. I'm excited about having started this. It is going to be Thanksgiving week this week in the States. So on Thursday, it's a holiday here, and on Friday I have off. So I'm really, really excited because that means extra knitting time. I am hoping to get a huge portion of this done because next weekend is going to be the beginning of December, which means it's Advent knitting. So do you remember how I wanted to make a Christmas sweater? It's going to be very interesting. So I am going to finish this up for my daughter as I am working on my Advent knitting, which I have decided that I have the Blackbird Sycamore yarn Advent, and I am going to make a Stripebuster with it. And I'll put up a picture of the Stripebuster. This sweater is knit in pieces. It is gorgeous. None of the stripes line up, which makes me so happy. Like, I love the asymmetricalness of it, and I haven't decided yet what neutral color I want to use with my Advent, because I keep looking at the picture and in the back of my mind thinking, I want to throw in a neutral color with this Advent because I think it would be nice to separate the stripes with neutral. So I have several different options. I have a antique color, which is what it sounds like, kind of like a cream. I believe I used it on my Voyage cardigan sleeves, and I can put up a picture of that too. Oh my gosh, I'm giving myself so much to edit. Mandy, why are you doing this to yourself? Okay, and I also have a color called, what is it? Paper. So it's basically like a cream color. They're not similar, but they are similar, but it's very important to me to pick the right one. So I don't know yet. I also have more Mandy's Magenta, and in the back of my mind, I keep thinking maybe I could use that too. So I don't know. It's so hard because with Advent, you never know. You never know. That's the fun of them though, right? But either way, I think that the Stripebuster will be a great Advent knitting pattern. And remind me that as I have to seam it together. Please, please remind me, because I'm going to forget. I'm going to see how I have to seam this together and cry very much. Okay, so that's the basic sweater. I'm hoping that by next weekend I will have much more to show you on that because like I said, it's going to be a holiday. So, okay, what am I going to show you next? I am going to talk about the Christmas gnome cats that I'm working on. So the only caveat that I have to getting her Christmas sweater done is that I need to get these Christmas cat gnomes done. Hopefully by next weekend. I'm hoping I will have them done by next podcast so that my kids can deliver them to the people that they're for. Because my daughter keeps asking, she's like, Mom, do you have the cat gnomes done? Can we take the cat gnomes? And I'm like, no, I'm having so much fun knitting this sweater. Okay, this pattern is from Olga Vasileva. And these are the Christmas cat gnomes. And I think they're just really cute. So if you checked in last week, I had both bodies done. Now this week, and I'm not going to show you because they're basically a mess, I have all of the ears, all of the paws, the 2 tails, and the 2 noses. So I am working on the hat of this one right here, the ruffle hat. And I wanted to show you, do you see the little dots of red? Well, they're not red here, but the little kind of, they look kind of embroidered, but they're not, they're actually beads. So as I was doing this, because I made the ruffled one for my daughter, and as I was doing that, I realized, hey, those are beads. Now, if you can't tell, they're kind of like holly, almost. But I didn't get holly beads. I actually grabbed some beads, and I'm going to try not to crinkle, but I'm going to show you the beads and be quiet while I do it so I can edit it out. So hang on. Okay, so those are the beads that I picked, and I'm going to sew them onto the hat and just try to figure this out. They're very sparkly and they're very pretty, and part of me wonders if I could cut them in half. We'll see. It's going to be an experiment. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts. I really do like those holly, they're like berries almost. They're very cute and they go so well with the hat, but I didn't have any luck finding them. So after I make this ruffled hat and the berries and the leaves, then I'm gonna come over here and make this hat, which is also super cute. Now, in regards to like putting these together, the pattern tells you, so it gives you instructions on how to put them together. Last time I made it for my daughter, I put the cat together before I did the hat. This time, I am not putting anything together until both hats and everything are made. And the reason is because I want to make sure I get the placement perfect for these cats. So, well, you guys know what I mean, right? And I have this problem. So when I'm making amigurumi and the instructions are like, between row 3 and 7, stitch the ears 5 stitches apart. And you might as well tell me like, walk backwards while jumping up and down. First of all, I'm in a wheelchair, so that's not going to work. And second of all, it's really black yarn and hard to count. So it is what it is. I am not very good at like mapping out my stitches that way. I have seen other designers tell you to like mark a stitch with a stitch marker and have that as the spot where you're attaching whatever you're supposed to attach there. And I so appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I really do, because it is so hard for me to just it's so hard for me to make all of like the appendages of the amigurumi in the right spot and looking correct. And honestly, especially with like the ears and the face, that's what makes it. So you definitely want to get good placement on those. Okay, so that is what I am going to try to work on tonight and tomorrow, hopefully. And I wanted to show you this because, so my husband told me yesterday, yesterday or earlier today, I can't remember. He goes, well, we have off next Friday, so I'm going to put up the Christmas tree. And I look at him and I'm like, already? Right after Thanksgiving? And he's like, yeah, December's that weekend. And I'm just like, I'm not ready for this. So I've shown you this before, but I did buy this pattern and I would really like to make this. I think it's so cute. This is a Christmas Cat Bauble. And I'm going to see if I can dig out some scraps in the right color that I need. This is by Werewolf Crochet, and I found this on Etsy, and it is a no-sew cat bauble. And I should say that I didn't find this on Etsy. One of my friends, Sarah, showed this to me. So whenever I saw it, and thank you so much for being an awesome enabler, Sarah. Whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to get that because I love cats. And I love when things are no-sew. So that's like 2 pluses for that pattern. Okay, let me think. What should I talk about next? I'm going to talk about the Christmas sweater that I want to make. So I have Advent knitting going on very soon here. And I'm also working on my daughter's basic sweater. And the Advent knitting and the basic sweater are both going to be fingering weight sweaters. So as soon as I get done with my daughter's sweater, I'm waiting, and I don't want to wait to cast this on, but I'm going to, because I know that if I don't, I'm going to have 3 sweaters going for the longest time. So this is what I want to make. This is called Kalika, and this is by Amelie Designs, and I love this. I think that this is so pretty. If you guys have never seen this before, I definitely if you've never seen it before, I definitely recommend taking a look. This says it's a very feminine and delicate pullover with a plastron of textured stitches, a deep V-neck, and gathers beneath the bust. Okay, so first of all, there's going to be more crinkling. I'm going to edit it out because I want to show you my yarn that I'm desiring to use with this. So let me grab it. Okay, so I have that. And I have that. I wanted to show you that because I'm not sure if I can get away with using one. I might be able to. Maybe. Otherwise, I'm going to figure out how to do it. But with that being said, it says that I actually printed this out to show you guys because I wanted to show you about the pattern because I've been itching to start this like all week. So it's knit with fingering weight yarn, and it says that the yardage you need is between 1,100 to 2,000 yards. Keep in mind though that I'm super short and I can get away with bracelet length sleeves if I need to. So maybe I'll be able to do it. And if not, I'm going to start fading in to the purple, from the dark purple to the dark purple on the other set. So we're gonna see what happens. I always tend to overestimate how much yarn I need, and I'm hoping that in this case I can use it to my advantage. So the sizes available in this are between 31.5 inches and 53.25. And there's a question mark after 53.25, so I don't know what that means. This pattern is free though. I was blown away, and I've taken a look at this designer's patterns, and she has quite a bit of fingering weight patterns that are available for free. It says that the body and sleeves are knit on a 3.5 US size 4. So that's interesting. The gauge is 26 stitches and 34 rows. So it says the gauge on the pattern, it uses a 3.5 needle. Now, I used a 3.75 on my son's Flax. So I'll probably try to use the same needle because I really like the fabric that I came out with. So this is going to be more of an experiment than anything, to see how much yarn I need to make something, to take a look at a different construction, and actually, you know, to take a look at this, the way that this blouse fits in general. I really love, let me see. I really love the deep V-neck. I love the gathers under the bust. And I just think that that's a very pretty silhouette. And I think that it would be worth a try. And if it fails miserably, which it may, I mean, it's just yarn. We can pull it out, right? That's the good thing about being a knitter. We can't let things like that slow us down. A knitter or a crocheter. So, because we can definitely do the same thing with crochet. In fact, with crochet, it's so much easier to pull it out. That is one of the things that I really had to get used to, because I started crocheting before I started knitting, and I was getting very good at crochet, and I was crocheting, and I was able to make things, and I was like a intermediate, I would say, like, you know, middle level crochet. I could fix my mistakes and figure out where I went wrong and basically crochet in a straight line. So when I decided to teach myself to knit, I had to kind of swallow all of that, because I went from being okay at a craft to like not knowing anything. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that's one of the hardest parts about learning a craft, especially as, well, I would say definitely, especially as an adult, because as an adult, we kind of understand our abilities, and we could be awesome at sewing and not know anything about knitting, and we could sit down and try to knit a sweater, and we could be knitting it and dropping all these stitches and making a mess, and we could be like, hey, I could just take fabric and sew this sweater and it would be so much easier. But that's not the point. So anyways, I'm going off on a tangent, but one of the hardest things about learning how to knit was kind of swallowing the fact that I had to start from the very beginning and basically learn all those skills up again. And that's kind of one of the things that scare me about learning new things, because you have to start at the very bottom and work your way up. But I think it's easier when we're children, because as kids, we don't understand things like limitations, or, hey, maybe we should start down here. We want to start up here because we don't know better. And that's great, actually, because, you know, how else are you going to learn? Okay, so I have some patterns to show you. And the first one is a Jennifer Steingass pattern. It came out and I saw it and I wanted to mention it. Now, this is called the Harvester. And if you look at the pictures, it looks, and it says this in the description box, it looks like its sleeves basically spinning around the yoke of the sweater, which I think is really cool. I have been looking at this sweater and thinking those leaves could totally be bird feathers. And then I started thinking, and this is why I've been going off on a rabbit hole. And then I started thinking, wouldn't it be fun to use like slow color changing yarns on this sweater, or like red, because I love cardinals. We have bird feeders outside of our window and we have cardinals all the time. So anything that involves birds or feathers, I am all about. But I saw this, I thought it was so pretty. This is done in worsted weight yarn, and it is, the gauge is 20 stitches to 28, and 28 rows is 4 inches. And it says that it's sized inclusively with 12 sizes, so that is awesome. Okay, so it has an automatic 20% off right now if you grab it, because that's the introductory offer. It says, with motifs that swirl around the yoke, the Harvester sweater creates a sense of movement around the wearer. On one shoulder, leaves are wrapping around, and on the other, they are flying off like leaves whirling in an autumn wind. While the pattern only calls for 2 colors, lots of test knitters had fun coming up with unique and inspiring color combinations, creating fades with various yarns or by using a gradient yarn. The sweater is worked from the top down, is seamless, and knits up quickly in the round with DK or worsted weight. So I have heard many good things about Jennifer Steingass, so I thought I'd let you guys know about that one. This is that one is also a circular yoke, so keep that in mind if you're gonna look at it. Okay, no, I'm skipping one. Uh-oh, no, I'm not. I printed the same one twice on accident. Okay, I saw this one and it made me happy. Ironically, it's called Bliss, and it is a beautiful colorwork sweater. And there are multiple versions on the pattern page. So I'm hopefully showing you some beautiful colored pictures. This is knit in worsted weight yarn. Now, this sweater is meant to have 7+ inches of ease. So keep that in mind. It's supposed to have a good portion of positive ease on it. But the sizes available are from extra small to 4XL, and it's worsted. Now, unlike the other one, this is 18 stitches and 24 rows to 4 inches. Oh, I love it. This would be so much fun to knit. I'm turning into such a big fan of color work. It says, note that the shoulder falls slightly down the sleeve and helps to shape the sleeve's length. I just saw this come out and I wanted to share it. I have never done a pattern by this designer, so I thought it was worth mentioning. Now this one, I will tell you exactly how I ran across this one. This is called Whitney Peak. This is by Amy Gunderson. And this is another one of her really gorgeous sweaters. Now, do you guys remember when I was talking about Advent knitting and Stripebuster? Amy Gunderson made the Stripebuster, so that's where I found this pattern from. Because I started looking through all of her other patterns and I noticed that there was this really gorgeous all over colorwork sweater that I had never seen before, and I thought that it was a shame that I hadn't seen it. Now, the suggested yarn is Knit Pick Swish DK, and the yarn weight is DK. It's 22 stitches and 28 rows, is 4 inches in stockinette. Now, it is available in sizes extra small to 5X. I really want to knit all over colorwork again. It says, Whitney Peak is a reimagined version of my Sacante sweater released in 2020 and designed with Amano Yarns Puna. Whitney Peak has cropped body length and sleeves and different edge treatments, making for a totally different look. But since the sweater is top down, it's easy to adjust sleeve and body length to your liking. So this is also another circular yoke sweater. I have noticed that there are very many circular yoke colorwork sweaters. That is so pretty. This says it's also, this pattern is part of the Knit Picks Independent Designer Program, and I have no clue what that means. It does mention that the change of round is in the back and that you use the stranded, you change yarns using the stranded color method. Okay, so I've been looking at Advent knitting things and Advent knitting patterns and just getting ready for December, which is pretty much here. And I ran across this blanket designer. And I think it's fair to call her a blanket designer. She does have other patterns, but the patterns that are most predominant in her store are blankets. Now, her name is Rosina Plain, and I'm going to put up a link to her Ravelry shop page, a pattern page, so you can take a look at all of the different patterns that she had. I'm going to talk about one of them, but then I'm going to talk about a couple of others that I saw. But this is the one that I believe, yeah, this one just came out. It's called Adventures in Overlay Mosiac. Now, this is a crochet pattern that uses mosaic crochet, and that seems to be like the main theme of her blanket designs. It says that it uses DK weight yarn, but honestly, it's a blanket, so depending on what you cast on, you could use any yarn that you wanted. It says ideal pattern to learn the overlay mosaic crochet technique and or use those scraps of leftover yarn. It says very special offer until midnight the 31st of December UK time. If you go to her pattern page, she has a coupon code there that you can enter and get 50% off until the 31st of December. So it says it's worked in single color rows using the overlay mosaic crochet technique and is finished off with a simple envelope border to hide the loose ends. That sounds ideal to me. First of all, one color rows. Second of all, you use a border technique to hide loose ends, which means less weaving in. So what's there not to like? There are no special stitches, no mid-row color changes, making the pattern perfect for beginners to the technique, and also for anyone wanting to do something easy while watching TV. If you are unfamiliar with mosaic crochet or the envelope border, don't worry, they are much easier than they look, and step-by-step instructions are given. It says that the pattern is written for a single size, approximately 88 by 120 centimeters, and also includes additional information for you to kind of be able to adjust the size. And it says each of the 23 simple designs included in this pattern comes with a clear mark chart and full written instructions. That is crazy. So let's take a look. You can make that beautiful blanket, and it comes with 23 charts that are written out, and there's a coupon code for 50% off. It's only $6.50. That's crazy. Now, I have never done mosaic crochet, and I have always wanted to. So I really liked this pattern, and I thought that it would be really fun to use an Advent with. But then I started looking at the rest of her designs. She has a design that's interlocking hearts, and I'm putting up a picture because I took the pictures because I wanted to show you guys so that you could check them out too. There's one with interlocking hearts, I believe, and it looked to me like the way that you do this is you construct it with blocks, and the blocks build off of each other, which to me would make a great blanket because that means there's no sewing together. The other one that I saw, and of course I saw this one, it was called Meow. And it was meow with an exclamation mark at the end. And it was so cute. I thought that that would make a gorgeous baby blanket for somebody. And the colors that she did it in, I would love that as a blanket for me. So if you are looking for a fun, any type of fun crochet blankets to do, or maybe a new technique, Mosiac crochet, to learn, I would definitely check her out. She has such cool, fun designs. She had some Christmas designs and Halloween and all sorts of things. So I had never seen her patterns before, and I was really excited to run across them. Okay, so here's the next rabbit hole I fell down, because Woolen Pine released a new hat. But this isn't the hat that I'm going to show you. I will show you that one, but first I'm going to show you the one that I ran across before that, because I saw the hat that they released, and then they're like, we have 30% off of our accessories, so take a look at the pattern bundle here. So I clicked in it and I started looking, and I'm like, I didn't believe Woolen Pine had this many hats. I was shocked almost, because I didn't think that they had many hats at all. And then I started looking at their hats, and their crowns on their hats are gorgeous. So this is the one that I really like, and I actually bought this pattern because I have some Malabrigo worsted, and I would love to make this hat for myself and for female relatives or anyone who would want it. My son might want it. It doesn't matter, but just take a look at it. I'm excited. This is called Desert Rose, and it is knit in worsted weight yarn. And let me see if I can find it. I'm hopefully putting up much better pictures of the crown, because it is absolutely gorgeous. It is like a rose, almost, and that's where the name comes from. It says, immerse yourself in the captivating texture of Desert Rose, a one-skein wonder that brings a touch of the floral desert landscape to your wardrobe. With just one skein of worsted weight yarn, knit a versatile hat that features a beautifully cabled texture reminiscent of the intricate desert rose. So I love that. It says the pattern is a no-fuss knit with rewarding results. You'll begin with a ribbed brim and then continue in the round, following a straightforward chart. Yes, I love whenever crowns do something, especially colorwork crowns, or crowns that carry up the texture. I just think it gives the hat such a just this perfect touch. So it says you only need between 180 to 200 yards, and it comes in sizes adult small or adult large. So, and obviously you can, what am I saying? You can change your needle size to kind of adjust how the hat fits you as well. But I was so excited when I ran across that. And now for the hat they actually released this week. I did like this one too. This is called the Snowdrop hat. And this is a textured hat with these very pretty, I don't know, are they baubles? Yes, it says bauble or popcorn. So you can tell right there, and I thought that that was really pretty. The reason that I chose the other one instead of this one is because of reverse stockinette. And I just know me, and I know that I was more drawn to the other one. So it says, explore the beauty of texture with a Snowdrop hat, a cozy cable and bauble designed for sacred sheep and knit in tandem DK by West Wool. So this is knit in West Wool, which you can find at Stephen and Penelope. And if you don't know who Stephen West is, he is a very prolific knitwear designer who has a shop in the Netherlands, and this is one of the wools that they sell there. It says, designed for versatility, the Snowdrop hat can be styled with a folded brim for extra warmth or left unfolded for a more relaxed, slouchy vibe. Now, what do you guys think? Do you like slouchy hats, or do you like hats that fit more like beanies? I'm trying to... Is that more slouchy? Yeah, I think that one's fit a little bit more slouchy for her. I don't know. I think it really depends. For a hat for me like this, that had that intricate detail on the crown, I would prefer if it fit more like this bottom picture. Because I feel like when it's slouchy, you kind of lose that definition. So those are just my two thoughts there, but let me know down below what you guys think. Now, with the hat came mittens as well. These are the Snowdrop mittens. And the gauge here is done in reverse stockinette. So this is also knit with West wool. And the gauge is 20 stitches and 30 rows, so it's DK weight. It says the yardage that you need is between 170 to 240 yards. And those mittens are just adorable. I think they make perfect mittens too. I don't know. Let's take a look. So if you aren't a mitten person, I bet that you could end that top of the fingers and make them into fingerless mitts, ending with that ribbing section up at the top, and that would work out just fine as well. So it says, the cozy companion to the Snowdrop hat, knit with just one skein of West Wool's Tandem DK, featuring baubles and cables that dance across your needles. With a stretchy ribbed cuff and beautifully textured details, these mittens are as practical as they are stylish. The mittens are knit in the round from cuff to fingertip, starting with a ribbed cuff for a snug fit. The reverse stockinette body shows off the baubles and cable details, and thumb stitches are placed on waist yarn until the end. Finish off the simple thumb knit in reverse stockinette, then block and enjoy your cozy new knits. Very cute. I wonder if my daughter would go for a pair of those. I feel like for her it might be better to felt mittens, although I could probably get away with felting those just fine. Especially because, so the sizes available are teen, adult, small, adult, medium, and adult large. Okay, so this is the next pattern that I'm going to talk about are the Kringle socks. So if you guys haven't been watching, Helen Stewart releases, she released Knitvent for 2024, and she's done this in the past, and Knitvent is basically just a fun way. It's a collection of patterns, and you can buy it in advance, and it's a fun way to kind of get a pattern released once a week and kind of be surprised by it. So the pattern that came out this week is Kringle socks, and these are DK weight socks. And let me see if I can show you that bottom picture. They are a simple ribbing stitch, and then they have eyelets at the cuff, which I thought were really cute. The interesting thing and the fun thing that I thought about this was that they're knit in DK weight. So I've done like 1.5 pairs of fingering weight socks before. I'm not a very prolific I'm not a sock knitter. I just, with all of my health issues and lack of feeling with my feet, I don't want to put anything on my feet. So, I mean, that it is what it is. But with DK weight socks, I feel like those would knit up great for like a gift. I could make a gift for my mom or a friend, and I think that those would go over pretty well. And with DK weight socks, they're going to knit up much faster than fingering. It says The Kringle socks capture the warmth and whimsy. Knit in cozy DK weight yarn, they're a quick and satisfying project. Perfect for a short notice gift exchange that is just around the corner. The pattern includes 4 sizes to help you find the perfect fit for a wide range of recipients. It features a classic drib pattern with delicate eyelet detail to peek over the top of your boots. I love that. And the sizes available are between extra small and large. And yardage needed is between 200 and 266. So that's going to be, is that a skein of DK weight yarn, I think? I think so. Or pretty close to it. That's so much fun. And it says it uses a merino nylon DK. I saw this one and I had to add it. This is a designer that I am very fond of. Her name is Rachel Illsley. And I saw this come out on my favorites. No, what is it called? The section on Ravelry where they show you all the patterns that you're going to be interested in. This is called Antique Filligree. Now, this is knit in fingering weight yarn. And this is, how am I supposed to describe it? So, first of all, you have charts for the sweater, and the charts completely get rid of the jog and do you know how sometimes you'll get a jog when you're following a colorwork pattern? It says the body is, where is it? The jog and the round is eliminated by the colorwork charts. It says, Antique Filligree is a top-down circular yoked sweater which features stranded colorwork through the majority of the yoke, body, and sleeves. The patterns of the stranded colorwork are inspired by filigree, a type of intricate metalwork found on jewelry and other ornate pieces. It's worked from the top down in the round. After the neck row, short row shaping is incorporated to optimize fit. Okay, so let me see if you can, yeah, that picture right there. So your yoke depth is customizable and you can make it shorter or longer depending. And I've done Outcrop by Rachel Illsley, and that was also customizable. So I'm not sure if that is a common theme in her pattern, but it is, at least for this one, an outcrop. And you need between 1,300 and 2,500 yards, and the gauge is 26 stitches and 34 rows. Oh, I was so excited. It's so pretty. It definitely reminds me of filigree though. Would you guys knit your yoke deeper like this, or would you knit it, customize it, and make it shorter? Like, is that one shorter? It looks like it. I think that I would knit mine shorter because I'm shorter, so if I knit it too long, I'm going to be kind of swimming in it. It says the garment is graded into 10 sizes and the recommended positive ease is 3 inches. That is so cool. 10 sizes. But yeah, that's great. Okay, so this was another one because, you know, I'm looking at all of the list of the patterns where Ravelry's like, hey, you might be interested in this. And then I ran across this one as well, and of course they're right, I was interested in this. So this is called Chandler Reach by Jennifer Beale. Now, I was trying to read up on the construction of this because I found it really fascinating. So from what I understand, and don't take my word for this because I was trying very hard to understand how this was worked, you start off at the lace and then you work down. So you start off at the lace and then you work in the round down, and then you kind of you know what? I'm going to read what it says. It says the lace panels are knit first, then stitches are picked up along the lace panel selvages, and stranded color work is worked in the round with steeks at the cuff. After the cuff steeks are cut, the underarms are shaped, and the sleeves are closed with a 3-needle bind off. So the lower body stranded color work is continued in the round with steeks at the body sides. Lace panels are worked flat and sewn in, then the lower body stranded color work is continued down to the desired sweater length. That is so cool. Her construction is amazing. And you can tell just by looking at her sweaters and her designs, you can tell that her construction and the thoughtfulness that she puts into her designs is just incredible. That is so neat. I mean, I've never heard of like 3-needle binding off the arms. That is cool. It says that if you go to her pattern site, she's got a 25% off at checkout automatically, no code needed until November 26th. So I wanted to mention that in case anybody who likes to steek and loves her patterns would be interested in knitting this. I definitely will be taking a look at 1 or 2 of her patterns. I think Villa Marie, and she has a gorgeous like tunic that I loved. One thing at a time, Mandy. One thing at a time. Okay, I think that's it. That is it for today. That should be enough, I hope. But now you followed through like my thoughts this whole week where I'm like trying to knit my sweater for my daughter, and I'm thinking, hey, I want to be knitting this for me. And then like the crochet gnomes are over here, and then like, hey, new pattern releases. So it's all up in the air. Happy December, you guys. By the time I talk to you next, it will be December. So I hope that you had an awesome November, and I hope that the fall this year has been treating you well. I hope that if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you had an awesome Thanksgiving, you have an awesome Thanksgiving. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope that you have an awesome week. And I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you're interested in entering the giveaway. And if you could, please give this video a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys. Bye.